evidence? What's the evidence? This hard and fast question chilled my dry bones as it was chanted in a semblance of some sort of Ku Klux Klan ritual. What's the evidence? What's the evidence? You see, people wear their intelligence as a mask, a hood drawn tightly over their own fountain of knowledge, which actually prevents truth from being revealed. The shadow cast upon their eyes darkens any possible illumination they could get from the light. It's amusing, really, as they wear their sunglasses at night and still propose to have better vision and more insight than we rest of human beings. But what's the evidence of that, really? I mean, that we built airplanes and spaceships, went to the moon in 1969. I don't discredit the engineering skills required to accomplish this feat, but I mean, who wouldn't want to go to the moon anyway? Still, in deriving this fantastic forward movement, did it not cause even the slightest backward motion in thought and reflection? I mean, there would be no moon to venture to if something or someone didn't put it there. But what's the evidence? I mean, it really isn't a rocket science, contrary to the play on words. Heck, it really isn't science at all. My very educated mother just showed us 9 planets. The 9th planet isn't even a planet. So much for my very educated mother. Yet still we continue to plant our feet in the rocky soil of man's limited wisdom. We need logic, we say. What's the evidence? A quick question though. Were you there when you were being born? No. Please think about it. Sure, they tell you were there. You may even see pictures of a pruned, pale baby, a piece of paper with your name on it, some signatures and stamps and an arbitrary date. But do you recall being present at such an event? Do you recall clawing your way through this moist, warm canal until you take your first breath of oxygen, if that's really what it's called? Probably not. But we all accept that we were born on our birthday, except for the few that deliberately wait till the end of the song to skip around. But we pride ourselves on the evidence presented to us, signifying that we were born. That's simply enough. But what's the evidence? 2 plus 2 can only equal 4 if we accept that 1 plus 1 equals 2 on any given day. But what's the evidence that this number line even exists? Have you seen it before? If you strip basic mathematics down to its bare bone marrow, you will see that there are some mathematical rules that we have been told simply to just accept. A negative times a negative gives a positive. The area of a circle equals so and so pi. What a silly numeric Greek word. Abbreviation or not, even the word silly is silly. Yet we sap up the inconsistencies of the English language, proclaiming its rules to be factual. But what's the evidence? The transformations the English language has undergone, being passed about through the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms of England, lends no form of authority on the matter. You see, as human beings, we go on expedition after expedition in hot pursuit of logic and reason, but are so selective in the things that we decide to challenge, and always expect a grand revelation of the things not yet known. For what? For us to simply change our minds again? I mean, I'm sure if you were to confront Sigmund Freud or Albert Einstein, they'd admit tremendous limitations in their theories, if they were even so humble enough to do so. But what's the evidence? That we'd rather believe the words of a textbook written by limited man is beyond me. Yet we hoist skepticism as a scalpel and dissect the words of the Bible, claiming it was written by mere men and so it cannot be held as an absolute truth. I mean, come on. The men who put the Bible together are apparently no Freud or Einstein. And Sir Isaac Newton told me of a thing called gravity that would prevent anyone from walking on water. And if all we had to do was speak to a storm and calm it, Katrina and many others would just be a great tale of what could have been. Nah, we debate the language flaws. The letter J was not in the Hebrew alphabet at the time the Bible was written. Jerusalem, Jews, Joshua, Joseph, Job are all incorrect. But silly we, the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. are not in the Hebrew alphabet either. Why don't we challenge that instead of attacking the name of Jesus Christ or Jehovah? They're not in the Hebrew alphabet because these letters are English letters, simply used to articulate the pronunciation of the Hebrew or Greek words. But we want evidence that the Bible is literal and can be taken at its word. Mankind has manipulated what it should mean. We want evidence that the contents of the Bible can be relied on. Never mind that the data found in the biblical stories have been verified by historical research. We turn a blind eye to that evidence and lend our beliefs to the big bangs and clashing symbols of theories, evolution and whatnot. We moved from single organisms to complex ones, adapting to our environment, natural selection, survival of the fittest, and the list goes on. I mean, I don't deny that the Genesis story sounds a bit far-fetched. Why would a holy God stoop down to earth and use dirt to make man, and then take a rib from his side and make his wife? I mean, when we undergo surgical operations, you don't see any dirt inside any human being. Though filth is admittedly a common trait in all our hearts, don't you think? And why would this awesome God decide to fellowship with his creation, even becoming the very thing he hates, to bring us back to himself? If that isn't incredible, I don't know what is. I mean, contrary to man's usual pattern, no one was even clamoring for evidence when they sought to kill this God-man. What happened to logic and reasoning then? My conclusion of the matter, therefore, is this. No matter how hard we try, we will never have all the evidence. But by golly, even Sherlock Holmes could solve cases based on his experience, allowing evidence to come later. Just like all the other examples given, there had to be some reliable consistency that convinced us. You see, my God is personal, and he's real. And the Christian Bible will continue to be my favorite book. For in it, I believe, holds my God's exhale, as he breathed those words into inspiration and gave them to its authors. And in a sharp contrast, the one thing that is intangible is the one thing that renders this court case closed. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So, what's the evidence? Forsaking all, I trust him. Faith, case closed.